Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is William Hindman, and this is Just Force 911, where we look at how our public officials do their job or they don't. And this gets into California. The California Supreme Court has sent down a ruling that it's unconstitutional for the courts in California to not use a court reporter because they're having officials in the courts changing what was said on the paperwork. And there's a case that's going on where it was they had a copy of the transcript of what happened from the court clerk. And then later on, when they went to do it in federal court, they got another copy which was changed, and they should be the same, and they're not. Hey, do me a favor, guys. Go over to Suzanne Bassi, Bassi. Check her out. See if you guys like her. She does a lot of civil rights and Miss what do you call it? Miss Feasance of our public officials. Check her out. See what you guys think, and tell her I sent you guys over there. But she's the one that brought this to us, and I'm glad she did. So this gets into judges and clerks, and see, we don't just always pick on police officers. We pick on anybody that breaks the law and does the wrong thing. So, with that being said, guys, let's get into this. Oh, do me a favor while you're here. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for those who've done it. I appreciate it very much. Hit the bell icon so you know how to put out a new video. Thumbs up, thumbs down says how I'm doing for you. Leave me a comment and hit the like and share because it helps my algorithms. Okay, that crap's out of the way. So let's get into the video, guys, and you tell me what you think about this. When I heard this, it just made my blood boil. California does what they want, when they want, and how they want, and they don't care, but they're going to start caring because the Supreme Court says you're going to change.
This is Susan Bassi, and for those of you who follow my work and my reporting on the courts, you know that I am passionate about cameras in courtrooms and the right to record in those courtrooms and public spaces of courthouses. And today we got a little closer to that when the California Supreme Court issued an order to show cause against the courts in Santa Clara County, Los Angeles, and San Diego. This order requires the courts to explain how it is constitutional to criminalize and make it unlawful to electronically record these court proceedings where there are no court reporters present. Court reporters are the licensed individuals who make a transcript of a court proceeding. They keep the historical record of these court proceedings, and they are quite costly. In Santa Clara County, just to have a court reporter show up for a hearing, litigants can pay up to $1,200 just to get a transcript. And that's just to have the court reporter show up. It costs more money to have them actually produce the transcript, which they have a copyright on. And so I thought I would bring you Mark the Process Server talking about one such case where a court reporter altered the record, and this is how they did it. And this is the implications and the impact when court reporters make transcripts and change those transcripts, and there are no cameras to back it up.
What's your idea of wealth? A room with a view? Or the peace of mind knowing you're leaving?
So in that Sonoma case with Becky Peterson, how was it discovered that she had changed the transcript?
The litigant involved in the case had gotten two different copies of the transcript. One when he was going to appeal in state court. The second one was for when he was decided to go to federal court. And the second transcript was even more blaringly altered than the first, as the transcriptionist wrote out a lawyer who was listed as the attorney of record. And you can't get around that. An entire attorney's missing. There are two transcripts. They're from the same date, the same hearing, the same time. They should be identical. But yet between these two transcripts, one of them says the litigant is represented by public defender's office because it was a quasi contempt matter. And then the second one that was put out 2 years later, going into federal court, the attorney was edited out, probably to try and avoid subpoenaing her to the fact that they had changed the first transcript.
So they actually omitted a public defender from the
Yes.
hearing.
Her name was Leslie Cagle. And when the federal attorney went and approached Sonoma County's public defender's office, the head of the public defender's office literally yelled at the lawyer and said they wouldn't do anything. So he exercised under California State Bar Rule 8.3. He turned in a complaint against the boss and Ms. Cagle because they refused to come to court to verify that, one, Ms. Cagle was in fact in the courtroom that day, and two, that her client had been seriously, his rights have been encroached because an accurate record of the proceeding was now corrupted. There was no way to move forward.
So this is kind of the equivalent of a divorce attorney throwing their client under the bus, knowing something was a problem and not fixing it.
Yes.
So
Hi, Ingrid and Julie here. We are Women SV Volunteer Court Watchers to watch Hendrickson with a case here in Department 65, and we got kicked out of the court at the request of Nicole Ford. And
Following our reporting on a nonprofit known as Women SV, a group of individuals in Santa Clara County formed to start doing some court watching. They watched the judges, the attorneys, the bailiffs, the court reporters, and the court clerks. And they noticed that in cases where judges are appointing attorneys as minors counsel, there were no court reporters because most people can't afford to pay an attorney for their children, and $1,200 to have a court reporter make a transcript of the many hearings that you might have in a divorce or a custody case. And specifically, these court watchers were watching a proceeding in front of Judge Cindy Hendrickson. And when they were, Judge Cindy Hendrickson was served with a motion to disqualify her for acting with bias in a case involving a father from San Diego. And moments after she was served with that disqualification, and a copy of it was served to divorce attorney Nicole Ford asked the judge to close the courtroom. If there had been remote cameras, the public would have been able to see this, and they would have been able to see that the father and his attorneys were not yet in the case when the courtroom was closed, and there was an appearance of First Amendment retaliation. Not only that, they would have also been able to see the conduct of Nicole Ford in a case where she is being privately paid, as opposed to cases where she acts as minors counsel, and there's currently an investigation as to whether or not she has insurance in those cases. Because if an attorney is being appointed to represent children in a case, she's required, or he is required, to have malpractice insurance in the event that they commit malpractice on their young clients. And when their clients turn 18, they can sue those attorneys. And so the courts, in appointing these attorneys, need to at least make sure the attorneys are solvent and able to pay for the malpractice that they might encounter with these young clients.
Full coverage for just $39 a month? Seem too good to be true? It isn't. If you haven't checked your rates recently.
And the primary reason why we were here is because there was a mother that Nicole Ford represented, and she had attached supervised visitation reports to the mother that she was representing. And then there's other cases where she's a minors counsel representing children, and she's not filing the supervised visitation reports in those declarations. And the main reason why she's doing that is to drag the cases out.
Without the public having access to cameras in courtrooms, it's hard to see the conflicts of interest and how the attorneys are behaving in our modern family courts. Divorce attorneys have an incentive to drag divorce and custody cases out because they make more money. The attorneys representing the parents make more money, custody evaluators, and even the attorneys the court appoints to represent the children make more money. But there are other people who make money as well, including professional supervised visitation providers. These are the people that the attorneys bring into a case to monitor a parent interacting with their child after there's been allegations that a parent is mentally unstable, abusive, or unfit. And professional supervised visitation providers charge anywhere from $50 to $250 an hour, and they charge additional money to issue reports of everything that is said and done in the limited visits that they have with their children. And these people can be in a case for years and years until people can no longer afford court reporters, attorneys for themselves, and their assets get drained, and they usually have to end up representing themselves in court.
I stopped you here is because this sign is labeled self-help. Can you think of examples in court what self-help means?
Imminent doom.
So I can.
Pro-pers are treated worse than red-headed stepchildren.
That's right.
At the heart of this lawsuit, where this order was recently issued, is the issue of people who have to represent themselves in court. Because if you can't afford a lawyer, you're not very likely to be able to afford a transcript. And therefore, because you are indigent or unable to afford those costs, you don't have a historical record of your court proceedings, and you don't have a right to appeal. And that's why this case is so important. Because in family court, 90% of people have to represent themselves because they can't afford an attorney.
Okay, guys. So you tell me what you think and what she says, because Susan did a good job in putting this together. That those who can't afford it end up going to court themselves, and anytime you go to court by yourself, you're just asking to lose. So that's because our system is rigged. You're guilty till you prove yourself innocent. Hey guys, one thing, remember, always film the police because they are not your friends. Thank you. Have a good day.